What helps deep-sea fish withstand the enormous water pressure of thousands of tons? Deep-sea creatures are animals that live below the ocean's sunlit zone. The sunlit zone is the upper layer of the ocean that receives enough sunlight to support aquatic plant life. Most deep-sea organisms live thousands of meters below the surface, far from the sunlit zone. The survival challenges these animals face include food scarcity, high water pressure, low oxygen levels, darkness, and extremely cold temperatures. So, there are various animals that can survive in the deep sea despite the harsh conditions. One might even say it's because of these harsh conditions that they have developed special survival abilities. There are also some creatures that have been studied, and scientists still don't know how they manage to survive in such an environment. So here are 6 ways marine creatures can survive in the deep sea. First, they retain less oxygen. In most parts of the ocean, the amount of oxygen decreases with depth. This is due to the fact that sunlight cannot penetrate far down into the water, which means that algae and other photosynthesizers cannot live there. And since they produce oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, this lack of light means a lack of oxygen. However, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, oxygen can be found near deep sea vents. In general, though, animals that live in the deep sea have evolved to retain less oxygen than their shallow water relatives. This allows them to save energy and survive in low oxygen environments. Some creatures can even turn off parts of their brain to decrease how much oxygen they need. The Japanese spider crab can survive in areas with very little oxygen by slowing down its metabolism. Other creatures like the hatchetfish have specialized proteins that allow them to take in more oxygen from the water around them. Second, they can hold their breath for many hours. If you're not in the water long enough, you may get a chance to see some interesting things like coral reefs or maybe even a dolphin. But if you stay in too long, you'll start to feel the effects of the pressure and you'll have to surface before you pass out from lack of oxygen. Well, this isn't a problem for creatures living in the deep sea who have evolved to stay underwater for many hours at a time. Take the sperm whale, for example. It can dive over 3,200 feet underwater and stay there for over an hour. And the giant squid can stay underwater for up to 2 hours while it searches for food. How do they do it? Well, one way is by slowing down their breathing rate until they only need to take a few breaths per minute. They also have special adaptations that allow them to store more oxygen in their bodies, such as extra-large lungs or blood cells that contain more hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen throughout the body. Third, their lungs are supercompressible. Deep-sea creatures have supercompressible lungs so that they can breathe at extreme depths. At the bottom of the ocean, the pressure is about 1,000 times greater than at the surface. If you were to descend into the deep sea without any special equipment, the pressure would crush your lungs and you would die. However, deep-sea creatures have evolved to survive these extreme pressures. Their lungs are made of a special material that allows them to compress and expand without breaking. For example, the lung capacity of a sperm whale increases by over 50% when it dives to extreme depths. This is thanks to their specialized ribcage structure that acts like a bellows, sucking air into their lungs as they descend. As a result, sperm whales and other deep-diving mammals are able to breathe underwater for extended periods of time. 4. They can lower their heart rate. The human heart pumps blood throughout our bodies, delivering oxygen and nutrients to our cells. But when we're at rest, our hearts don't have to work as hard. We can lower our heart rate to conserve energy. And it turns out that deep-sea creatures can do the same thing. By lowering their heart rate, they're able to slow down their metabolism and conserve energy. This allows them to survive in low oxygen environments where it would be difficult to get enough oxygen if their metabolism was too high. For example, the hatchetfish can lower its heart rate to just a few beats per minute while it's resting. Another creature that has the ability to lower its heart rate is the giant squid. This allows it to save energy while it's hunting prey or escaping from predators. 5. They have TMAO. Some deep-sea creatures have a special ability that allows them to survive in low-oxygen environments. It's called trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO. TMAO is a molecule that helps organisms transport oxygen throughout their bodies. And it turns out that some deep-sea creatures have a genetic mutation that makes their TMAO more effective at transporting oxygen. This allows them to survive in low-oxygen environments where other creatures would suffocate. Scientists are still studying exactly how TMAO works and why some creatures have this special ability. But it's clear that this adaptation is essential for life in the deep sea. One scientist said it's like having an oxygen mask that never runs out of air. It's amazing. 6. They don't absorb nitrogen. One of the challenges of living in the deep sea is dealing with the pressure of the water above you. At the bottom of the ocean, the pressure is about 1,000 times greater than at the surface. This is equal to the pressure you would experience if you were 10 elephants on top of you. The pressure can crush the air in your lungs and cause you to suffocate. However, deep-sea creatures have a unique ability that allows them to avoid this fate. They don't absorb nitrogen. This means that their bodies don't become filled with air bubbles when they ascend to the surface. This is different from what happens to humans when we ascend too quickly. When we do that, the air in our lungs expands and can rupture our tissues, causing a condition called the bends. This can be deadly, but deep-sea creatures don't have to worry about it because they don't absorb nitrogen. Instead, their bodies are mostly made up of water, which is the same substance that makes up the ocean around them. This allows them to move from deep to shallow waters without any problems. It's safe to say that the deep sea is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Yet there are plenty of creatures that call it home. From the giant squid to the sperm whale, these creatures have all evolved special adaptations that allow them to survive in low-oxygen environments, withstand extreme pressures, and hunt prey in the darkness. It's truly amazing to think about how life has adapted to such extreme conditions. Do you know of any other ways that marine creatures can survive in the deep sea? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.